Okay, we're back.
Welcome, everybody.
We're going to talk about 2 movies today, aren't we?
Dos films.
The original plan was to just talk about un film and perhaps un libro, maybe dos libros, because we both read libros. But we watched something last night that really needs to be talked about, doesn't it?
You're right. It does. Pause. Did you know this is not that there are headphones that you can wear that will translate what you're hearing?
Are they good? Like, no matter what language it is?
For the most part.
And they're good? And it's, accurate?
I saw an ad for it.
What about, accents and dialects and...
It said it covered a decent amount of dialects, but... Well, I don't know. It's probably just, the most common languages.
Who makes it?
I don't know. They looked like AirPods, though. They weren't AirPods, but that's what they looked like.
Huh.
Anyways, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we watched 2 movies.
Which one should we talk about first? The PBTP?
Or
the TMR?
I think we need to talk about TMR because...
You want to talk about TMR first?
Just because it's fresh.
Alright. So TMR stands for The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Starring
Matt Damon, who you may know from The Killer. Just kidding. Matt Damon was not in The Killer. And also starring Jude Law and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Gwyneth Paltrow and kind of Cate Blanchett also.
Yeah.
I think I covered all the main ones.
The dad.
I don't know his name in real life.
Yeah.
But you'll recognize him.
Yeah.
What's it about?
So it's about Tom Ripley, played by Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And he basically covers for someone at the beginning of the movie and plays the piano at this event.
Huh.
At the event, he borrows the guy's suit jacket.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a Princeton jacket. And he starts talking to this guy, and the guy thinks that Tom Ripley knows his son.
Because he went to Princeton.
At the same time.
Even though Tom Ripley, it's not his jacket, so he didn't go to Princeton.
He just lied about it.
Yeah.
Long story short, this dude, Mr. Greenleaf, pays Tom Ripley to go to Italy to try and bring his son back.
Because they own a big shipping empire, and he wants his son to come back to...
work for it.
The United States.
Yeah.
But Tom Ripley is a
little con artist.
Yeah, he's really good at lying. He's very meticulous. He's
kind of a sociopath.
He's a little bit of a sociopath.
Which you don't know for the first half
of
the movie, I would say. And so Tom Ripley gets to Italy.
Well, we can't just summarize what happens.
Oh, okay.
That's
just crazy.
Let's just talk about it.
There's just a few, he gets to Italy. His first person that he hangs out with. What are you looking at?
You.
You're looking at me weird.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Alright. Well, this movie is crazy.
I had no idea what this movie was about. Also, if I sound sick, I am sick, and so I'm just kind of stuffy, so I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
I had no idea what this movie was about, and I was shocked.
Shocked to find out there was gambling?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, I guess it's not really spoilery. He gets to Italy and, sort of starts to enjoy it there. And really enjoys hanging out with Dickie, who's the Mr. Greenleaf's son. So Dickie Greenleaf, played by Mr. Jude Law. And then Dickie's girlfriend is Gwyneth Paltrow. What's her name? Margie?
Marge.
Yeah, Marge. Her name in the movie is Marge. And
is it Marge?
Yeah. Marge, I believe, is her name in the movie, in the film. And Tom starts to just really enjoy spending time, especially around Dickie. and it's like super really fun for the first half of the movie. You get like a lot of cool cultural stuff in, you know, Italian stuff, kicking stuff
in like the Amalfi Coast and in Naples, which was fun because we were just there.
Yeah, you know, they're going to a jazz club and they're singing like classic Neapolitan songs together and like going on boat rides.
It's just so beautiful and
yeah. So yeah, that's like not really spoilery. That's sort of how it starts, but you can tell that there's something a little bit off with Mr. Tom, and to be fair, there's also some things off with Dickie. Mm-hmm. And the movie just starts taking some hard left turns at a certain point, and then doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying this in a good way. This is not too twisty, in my opinion.
No,
it
totally makes sense.
Yeah,
in the frame of the movie.
Yeah, it's really good, actually. So we can't really talk too much more about it. I feel. I mean, I guess we can talk about the aspects that we liked, and then we can rate it, and then we can.
The acting was really good.
Everybody is great. Yeah, like freaking Jude Law does an American accent. You can kind of hear his British.
Every once in a while, like he yelled one time, and Brayden and I looked at each other, and we're like, you could hear it.
You could kind of hear it a little bit. It's not like really obvious, but he does mostly a good job with it.
And honestly, I don't even know if I would have really picked up on it if before you hadn't mentioned, like, oh yeah, I kind of heard his accent. Yeah. And then I started listening for it.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't hear it.
But for the most part, it's really good. But he plays the character really well.
Yeah.
Like, Dickie's kind of like this really charismatic person who, Marge says, she has a line in the movie where she's like, when he's smiling on you, it's like the sun is always shining on you and you're the only person in the world. But then he'll forget or he'll get bored. Yeah. And then it's incredibly cold. And that's how he is. I'm sure you've known people like that before in your life. I definitely have. So he's that kind of a narcissist, but like very charismatic, very charming.
So handsome.
Yeah, this guy.
We were talking about this today.
It's weird because like Matt Damon is a handsome.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about.
He's a handsome guy, right? But like, he kind of looks ugly next to Jude Law in this movie. I don't know how they did that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Because he's very handsome.
But like, yeah, Jude Law is like just a really handsome fella in this movie.
Yeah.
Very, very stylish, like very fashionable.
Yeah.
He's got this magnetism.
It's the money of being able to buy like
True.
the Italian style clothes and all that.
Yeah, true. But like he just pulls everybody into him, and that's his personality. And Marge is just this really like sweet, kind of like she's in love with Dickie, and
she's very endearing.
Yeah,
is that the right word?
She's kind and friendly, and Tom is friendly too. I'm not going to talk too much more about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about spoilers because we have to, but
not yet.
Yeah. So the acting.
Let's just rate it.
Okay. Well, acting's great, right? Anything else you liked?
Well, I just think it's a very well-made movie. Acting, the writing,
the story's really good.
The story, the filming of it's just. I was not bored during this movie.
Yeah, I think it helps also. Speaking about the way it was shot, like where they are, there's just so many beautiful things to shoot. Because they're on the Amalfi Coast, and then they're in Rome, and then they're in Venice, and then San Remo. So they're like, there's all these great things to spark the imagination. So it just makes, at least this is the way I saw it, it made the shooting of this movie probably a lot easier because the
backdrop is so...
Yeah, because like you can't go wrong with wherever you're pointing the camera. It's going to look cool. So, yeah, it's good. Very good. What would you rate it?
Well, really fast. For the Parrot's Guide, I think is this rated R?
Yeah.
I think it's just for language. And violence.
Yeah.
And violence. I didn't look, so I don't remember that.
Micah kept closing her eyes. It's violent enough to be rated R.
Okay.
It's not like the most violent thing I've ever seen, but it's...
I will say you can tell when it's coming.
Yeah.
The violence.
Yeah. And then there's a little bit of language, not much though.
I think it's
pretty light on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if this matters. It's set in the 1950s.
Yeah.
So everything's a little, looks a little older.
Yeah. So that's like all it really is. Like, there's no...
Nudity?
Yeah.
Not really.
It's really just the violence and the language.
Right. What would you rate it?
I think I'm going to rate this an 8.5 invites and uninvites to the ski trip.
I was also planning to give it an 8.5. It's an 8.5. I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman's out of 10.
Aww,
that guy, every time I see him in a movie, I'm like, ugh. Because, like, there are actors that I will, I'll always miss.
Yeah.
Like Alan Arkin died last year. That was sad. But, like, he had a whole career, Philip Seymour Hoffman
was too sad.
Had so much more to do. That was such a freaking sad day. Yeah, and he's almost always my favorite character or one of my favorite characters in the movies that he's in.
He played his character so well.
Yeah.
In this movie.
I just miss that guy. But yeah, this movie was good. I don't know how many times I'm going to rewatch it. I'm sure I will rewatch it at one point.
I don't know that I ever will.
Because...
For me, the only reason I think I would is to show it to someone else that would appreciate it.
Yeah. It is a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Because...
Are you gonna... Spoilers?
Yeah, we're in spoilers now, by the way. Tom is a complete sociopath.
Yeah.
And at a certain point...
Please, I know I say this please skip ahead if you haven't watched this. It's worth watching. It's not too disturbing. It just toes the edge.
It needs to be experienced. But
so
if you don't...
Please skip ahead.
But if you really don't care, then keep listening.
Yeah.
Or if you've seen the movie and you want to hear us talk about it, / hear our reaction, even though, we already watched it, so we've had a day to, let this sit with us.
I was so sad when he killed Jude Law.
Yeah, so Tom
kills Dickie.
Tom kills Dickie. Tom has it in his head that Dickie loves him, and they have this, special connection. It's, pretty heavily inferred that Tom is gay.
Yeah.
But Dickie is not.
Mm-hmm.
And some of Tom's, behavior starts to kind of weird Dickie out, and then also Dickie is just getting bored of hanging out with Tom. And so they're on a boat because it's going to be their last day together. Tom's going to go back to America. And Tom is like, I kind of want to come back to Italy. Maybe we can rent a house together. And Jude Law's like, no, I'm sick of you.
Yeah, he actually says that.
He's like, I think we've seen enough of each other for a while. You're kind of a leech.
Yeah.
And he's just being very blunt in only the way that a spoiled narcissist brat could be. And he's saying these things that he just doesn't realize how dangerous Tom actually is.
Because they're out in the middle
of the ocean. Yeah.
The sea. It's not, or the
Mediterranean.
Yeah, the Mediterranean.
Yeah. So he starts saying all these things to Tom, and then Tom starts... It's a fight. It's a verbal fight, and then Jude starts getting in his face. Jude Law. Yeah. Dickie. And Tom hits him with an oar. Because he gets mad, and it cuts him really bad.
Oh, it was so gross.
And then they start fighting, and then Tom hits him,
it kills him.
It's kind of in self-defense, but, he's out of control, and he kills him.
Oh, what's it called? Unalives him.
Oh. Well, it's too late.
I know.
And it's at this point, I feel like in most movies, the character that accidentally kills another character would, he'd be freaking out and unsure what to do, and he doesn't have a plan, and then it's sort of him being on the run. But Tom,
you're so right.
Tom is a psycho. Oh, he's not a psycho. He's a sociopath.
You're so right.
He doesn't really feel remorse for what he did. So what he chooses to do is steal Dickie's identity when he's talking with certain people, because it's told to him earlier in the movie that the Greenleaf name will open many doors, and like it's really valuable to be able to use that name. And so he starts pretending to be Dickie with people that don't know Dickie, and he gets into apartments and he gets into restaurants and he buys clothes, and he tells Marge that Dickie ran away to Rome because he doesn't want to see her anymore. So he's basically, even though he should be like a nervous wreck, he's able to manipulate all these people into not suspecting him.
And he's so calm. You're so right. I did not even, catch that.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
That makes it so much more scary.
Yeah. Because he's pretty in control of his situation, even though he should be on the hook for murder.
Wow, okay. So then, he's pretending to be Dickie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin the rest of this movie.
Yeah, let's just say that some people catch on to the idea that something strange is happening and he has to commit more murders, and he does, and somehow at the end of this movie
he gets away with it. And not only that,
and it's not really contrived. You could kind of see him getting away with it.
Yeah. And not only that, Dickie's dad, Mr. Greenleaf, gives Tom money. Like Dickie's trust fund or whatever.
Because he's conned Dickie's dad into believing that he's a great friend to Dickie. And
that's what was so crazy to me.
Oh, right, because he there's all sorts of little details in this movie where he's copying people's voices, and he's he's learning Italian for the sake of being able to understand and communicate to get what he wants, and he's memorizing how Dickie does his signature, how Dickie writes his letters. He notices that Dickie always types his letters, so he starts typing, when Dickie is dead, he starts typing letters from Dickie to convince people that Dickie's still around. He's something else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it reminded me of. I've been trying to think of the movie that this reminded me of so much, and it's The Informant. Remember?
You're right. Wait, who was that?
That's also Matt Damon. That's why.
Oh my god.
That's why it reminded me so much of it. Because I was like, it's got a little bit of Nightcrawler,
Yeah, it creeps.
Yeah, just someone that is willing to do whatever he needs to get ahead. It's got a little bit. There was a movie that came out that.
Didn't I say that it reminded me of something today? And you were like Nightcrawler, and I said no, it was something else.
Yeah, you did. I don't remember the movie though.
I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, anyway, that's the movie it reminded me of. Matt Damon plays a sociopath kind of scarily well.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is everybody is so good in this movie that you really feel the weight of them not being there when they die.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah. After Dickie died, I kept waiting for Dickie to show up again, and I was like, oh, he can't. Because he's dead. Dang it. And then after Philip Seymour Hoffman's character gets killed, I kept waiting for him to show up again, and I'm like, oh, he's dead too. Oh. Yeah. I was really relieved that Marge didn't die. But, I mean...
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I really liked this. I thought it was...
Yeah.
But it did leave me feeling a little disturbed.
I feel like I need to rate it an 8.75.
Okay. That's fair.
So I changed mine.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay. The next movie, TPBTP.
What was that?
The Place Beyond the Pines.
I know. Never mind. I was going to say the acronym fast, but I didn't want to mess it up and look like an idiot.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to go back?
Yeah.
Okay.
T.
P. B.
No. Oh, yeah. T. P. B. T. P. TPBTP. All right, so
A+ for Braden.
What about it is?
Okay, so this is starring Ryan Gosling, Eva Mendes, Bradley Cooper.
And then one of the kids is a famous actor as well. His name's Dane DeHaan.
Okay, I don't...
Yeah,
who's that?
It's fine. Mahershala Ali also.
Oh, yeah, Mahershala Ali. And this is...
Oh, Ben Mendelsohn. The Australian guy. Mr. Trailer Man.
The scary eyes guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is... Ryan Gosling is a...
stunt driver.
Yeah, kind of. Motorcycle, dirt bike, a stunt driver, basically. And he works for this fair, I guess, and they travel around the country, I'm assuming. And so it turns out that he had gotten Eva Mendes' character pregnant the year before, and they had a kid.
Yeah.
She's now with someone else, and when he finds out, he quits his job and stays in this small town to try and be a dad for his kid.
Yeah. But he's got a rough past, and he doesn't really have a lot of skills apart from being really good at riding dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And he meets Ben Mendelsohn's character.
Oh, that's who that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ben Mendelsohn's character convinces him to start robbing banks. And so they start doing that. And we can't really go much further than that in the synopsis, because this movie also takes some left turns that you're not expecting. And
it's kind of... This movie is kind of 2 parts.
Yeah. It's basically...
And you know exactly when the second part starts.
Yeah. It's basically tracking, like... If I had to label it, I'd say, like, the big theme of this movie is...
I think it's fatherhood.
Yeah, it's... There's fatherhood, but also, like... the weight of people's mistakes and how they affect the...
So consequences.
Yeah, consequences, and how the consequences affect the people that perpetrated it, but then also the generations after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it was so good.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I didn't want to watch this for a long time, and I don't know why.
Well,
right?
Yeah, because you love Ryan Gosling.
I love Ryan Gosling. And
he's, like, on the poster.
Yeah.
And he has tattoos.
I know. I think I finally, like, maybe looked up. You know, normally when you're, like, flipping through, I'm just on my phone, and I don't even remember you ever asking me before.
It's been on our watch list for a while.
I know.
Like a year, basically.
And Ryan Gosling does such a good job.
Yeah.
Everybody does such a good job, but...
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ryan Gosling.
I think this was the first... Because I watched this a couple of years ago for the first time. I think this was the first movie where I was like, damn, Bradley Cooper's a good actor.
He looks so young in this.
Yeah.
I kept saying that. And it's crazy because he's like 30 or 35 in this movie, technically. But he looks like a baby. Yeah. He looks like he's 25.
Yeah. I must have watched this multiple years ago. Because I saw this before I saw Silver Linings and before I saw American Sniper. And, like, I don't know if I'd ever seen Bradley Cooper really in anything until...
Really?
Maybe, I don't know. But I just remember this being the one where I was like, oh, so this guy's for real.
Man, it's hard because I don't want to spoil this. I will say, I was sad when the first part of this movie ended. And it moved on to the second part.
Yeah.
Second part is really good.
It's just different.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about this movie, and actually this is a steal from... So I watched a YouTube video, or I watched part of a YouTube video of someone talking about this movie, and they pointed out that there are parallels that are really cool. So, like, there's a scene in the first part of this movie where Ryan Gosling is riding on his motorcycle through this, like, windy forest, and it, like, pans up, and you see all the pines next to him, and, like, the soundtrack is really great. as well. Yeah, like just the soundtrack paired with the cinematography for like scenes like this, it just like it hits the spot for some reason, for me at least. And then in the second part, there's basically the exact same shot duplicated with someone else riding a motorcycle, and both of these characters are connected. I'm not going to say why in the non-spoiler section, but like it's a parallel shot of almost like, you know, history repeating itself sort of a thing. Same song plays. He's, you know, driving down a very similar road, trees.
Yeah.
Just like this movie feels very thoughtfully put together.
Well, I think also with like the fatherhood, it's like Ryan Gosling coming from a troubled past, becoming a dad, and he wants to be better. He's not perfect, but he wants to provide for his kid. There's a want to be better, but he still has his own demons and his own whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's Bradley Cooper, comes from a very stable background.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly. It seems like it's good.
Yeah.
Like he had a healthy relationship with his parents and all of that. And just how different they were as parents.
Well, I think in Bradley Cooper's case, it was for a different reason.
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about that a little more in the spoiler section.
It's just different people.
Yeah.
Experience life differently. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. This movie is rated R. And
for language,
there's violence.
There's some violence.
It's not that bad though. And then drug use.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's really not very graphic in any of those apart from maybe language. There's a decent amount.
Yeah.
But it is heavy.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will take you on a journey for sure. So it's not light watching at all. Like it's
and like even like the drug use, it's more of like, you know, that people are doing, it's not they don't really show
it doesn't. Yeah, like the worst that you see is there's like a party and a bunch of teenagers are passing like a bottle of pills around basically. That's like the worst that it gets. So, you know, your own discretion. Anyways, it is heavy, but very worth it.
Yeah.
As long as you can get through that kind of stuff, because it makes you think.
And boy, did we think.
Well, we thought.
I did thunk a think.
That's very good, Micah. Very good. Micah gets an A+ for thunking her think. So good, Micah.
Thank you.
Should we rate it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 9 handsome Lukes out of 10.
Okay. I'm also gonna give this a 9. Motorcycles spinning in an orb.
Ooh, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, spoilers ahead.
Okay. I don't really know what to talk about, honestly. Okay, I guess we should say what happens, right? Because
this is a huge turning point.
This is really the crux of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Is this event. So Ryan Gosling and Mr. Ben Mendelsohn are robbing banks. At some point, something goes wrong with one of the bank robberies that they do.
Yeah. Basically, Ben Mendelsohn says, I'm done, we need to stop.
It's too hot right now.
Yeah, we need to cool it off. And Ryan Gosling is like, no, I need to keep making money for my kid.
Yeah.
Or whatever, I need more money.
So Ben Mendelsohn destroys Ryan Gosling's motorcycle. Honestly, even though he's the one that got Ryan Gosling into this whole bank robbing thing, I feel like Ben Mendelsohn's character cares about people.
Yeah.
He's like...
I didn't fault him for destroying the bike. Because not only does it save his butt, it saves Ryan Gosling. Yeah. The bike needed to be destroyed.
Right. So Mr. Ryan has to take a crappy motorcycle to rob a bank by himself, gets a flat tire, doesn't start quick enough. Basically, he ends up on a foot chase with the cops, and Bradley Cooper is a rookie cop, and Ryan Gosling gets into a house. He's in the second story. Bradley Cooper's entering the house. Ryan Gosling has a gun, and he's calling Eva Mendes.
Eva.
Yeah, Eva Mendes.
And his baby mama.
Yeah, and basically tells her not to tell his kid about him. He doesn't want his kid to know about him because he knows he's going to jail or gonna die or something. But Bradley Cooper breaks down the door and shoots him first.
It opens the door, and it almost is like his finger was on the trigger, and he didn't mean to shoot. It was like, oh, someone's there.
Well, he saw that he had a gun.
Yeah.
And he freaked out, and he had like the self-preservation instinct kicked in, and he shot first.
Yeah. And then immediately, it's like a bang, bang.
Yeah.
So Bradley Cooper shoots, Ryan Gosling shoots, falls out the window.
Yeah, and hits Bradley Cooper in the knee.
Yeah, with his shot. Ryan Gosling dies.
Yeah. Halfway through the movie.
So sad.
Yeah.
I was honestly shooketh.
Yeah.
I was like, do you remember? I was like,
yeah. Right.
For like a full minute afterwards.
Yeah.
It was so sad. So this is honestly a huge turning point for Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
And his character.
This is how we're introduced to Bradley Cooper too.
Yeah.
He's not in the movie until this part, and then he's one of the main characters of the movie.
And then the movie kind of follows him for the next part.
Yeah. And the reason I said that Bradley Cooper was a different kind of dad is because you can tell that this event has really, like, messed him up. Because he knows...
Morally.
Because he knows that he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And when he's giving his report, he hides the fact that he shot first.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got a moral compass. Like, he wants to do...
He was a lawyer, and he stopped being a lawyer to become a cop because he wanted to create more change. That was his thing.
Oh, okay.
And then this happens.
And
he lies about it.
There's a little subplot with some corrupt cops, and he's not down with that.
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell that he's got a moral compass. Oh, also, Ray Liotta's in this movie. The main character from Goodfellas. He's the corrupt cop.
That's what I was asking. The guy with the eyes? The scary eyes?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, different guy.
Okay. So basically after this, Bradley Cooper gets away with what he did. Whatever, I don't know. And then manipulates his way back into being a lawyer and being an assistant district attorney.
Yeah.
In not a good way. It's not okay the way that happened. And it really seems like he's very gray after this. And his moral compass is not great.
Yeah, but...
And he's not a great person after this.
Yeah. And he said after the shooting happened that he has a hard time looking at his son. Because he knows that the guy that he shot has a son. And he keeps a picture of
Ryan
Gosling, Eva Mendes, and their little baby that they all took together. He keeps that picture in his wallet for like years and years and years because he can't get over the family, quote unquote family, because they're not really.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he can't get over the family that he's destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's just, and then the kids grow up.
And they meet each other.
And then you follow the kids, and they become aware, or at least one of them becomes aware of what happened. The one, Ryan Gosling's son becomes aware of what happened. And you sort of start to see the cycle repeat itself where this kid is troubled and he gets into some, he's doing drugs
mischief.
And getting into some mischief, and it kind of culminates with, I don't know, should we even talk about that? okay. How did you see this ending? Do you think it was a hopeful ending or not a hopeful ending?
I think it was.
I think so too. Yeah.
I was sad
right.
at the end. Just because, like, Ryan Gosling's son was so troubled.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he wanted to figure his life out, himself out.
And so basically the end is he buys a motorcycle because his dad drove motorcycles, and he's trying to find out more about him. He wants to be connected to him, but he's also choosing to go away. He's getting out of this area that has brought him so much pain, and he's looking for a new horizon. So
this is really a movie that makes you think, because if you were Bradley Cooper, how would you handle it? How would you want to handle it? And realistically, how would you handle it?
You mean, would you admit to shooting
that,
first?
And then how him manipulating his way into where he is now and all of that. And family life.
Because, I mean...
It's interesting,
Because they're in New York, and...
like upstate or something.
Yeah, and, like, in New York, there's famously, like, there's mafia there, and there's organized crime, and there's cops on the payroll, and there's corrupt cops, and, turning them in and being, like, Mr. Righteous Man is a dangerous thing to do. Because it could get you killed, or it could get your family killed. And so, like, that's the position that Bradley Cooper finds himself in after he's, on top of dealing with this shooting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good point. Like, how would you react?
And I think if you watch this, it would give you a chance to be introspective of how would you want to and how would you actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's probably an impossible thing to even judge if you haven't been in a situation like that, but it's a really thought-provoking movie.
Yeah. Everybody does a good job, too. Like, Ryan Gosling does that great stoic thing that he's so good at doing.
And looks so good with tattoos.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Who looked better in these movies, Jude Law and Talented Mr. Ripley, or Ryan Gosling in Place Beyond the Pines?
I think Jude Law, honestly. Yeah. Just because, like, a tanned, beautiful man, you just gotta love it,
Nice. Mahershala Ali's not really in this for that much, but he's great.
He does a great job in this movie.
Ben Mendelsohn is also great. I'm always happy when he's in a movie. Eva Mendes was good too. But I think the ones that really surprised me the first time I watched this was Dane DeHaan, who's the kid, Ryan Gosling's kid, and Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the other kid's really good too. He's just so...
He's such an asshole.
Yeah. He's like one of those characters that you hate, but...
He does such a good job, but you just hate him.
Yeah.
So you can't even like how good of a job he does because you just hate him.
And it's not even that he's, like, a bad person. He's just... The way he talks, like... The way...
He's just an asshole.
he, like, adopts this really street ghetto accent, and that's...
Apparently it's, like, Long Island.
Yeah, and that's the accent he uses at school. But then when his dad is yelling at him, he drops the accent real quick.
Yeah.
And so he's just, he's just like a wannabe tough guy. So just like that kind of hateable, He's not really like a bad person. He's troubled in different ways.
He's neglected.
Yeah. So it's not totally his fault. Yeah, I don't know. This is a good movie. Watch it. It's heavy, so if you don't like heavy movies and if the way we've described it, you know yourself, whatever. But it's
so good.
It's worth watching it if you feel like you can handle what we've said about it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your thing really quick?
Which twist surprised you more out of these two movies?
The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do you mean like Ryan Gosling dying?
Yeah.
That surprised me way more.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
You could kind of feel like something like that was coming for the Mr. Ripley movie, at least for a couple minutes.
A couple minutes, like when they're on the boat, yeah. But for the Place Beyond the Pines, I did not see Ryan Gosling dying.
Yeah.
That. Because he's such a big name. Yeah. I can't believe they would kill him off in the first half of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't really ever jump back, like have flashbacks or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Alright, well, we both have books. Let's do them quick, though.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Alright, I gotta pull it up real fast. Actually, I do remember the name of it. Wait, someone died?
Who?
Chance Perdomo. Who was that? Gen V, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? No idea. Okay, Audible.
Wait, somebody died? That's what you just said.
Yeah, someone died. Alright, the book I read was called Soccernomics by Simon Cooper and Stefan Szymanski. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the economics of soccer, basically. So think of it as Moneyball, but for soccer. And talks about some interesting stuff, like basically breaking down why England always seems to underperform at big tournaments. Why do the Germans always win on penalties? Who is going to be the next superpower?
Do managers make a difference?
Just like all kinds of stat based. They're trying to make soccer stat based in a similar way
to baseball.
To how Moneyball made baseball. Well, I guess Moneyball itself didn't do that, but like those ideas, how those changed the way that people think about baseball. And it's really interesting. I did take some interesting tidbits from it. I'm not going to talk about too many of them here. I will say, so I listened to this, and this is a book that has a lot of graphs and charts. And every time they have a chart, they read the entire chart.
Ew.
And sometimes it takes forever. So it's like they broke down like the winning percentage of every single club in the top 2 divisions of English football.
So the Premier and
the Premier League and the Championship. And so they would break down the name of the team, their winning percentage, and their salary percentage relative to like what everybody else pays or whatever. So it would be like top 50 English clubs by salary. Number 1, Manchester United. Winning percentage.
Oh my gosh.
0.61. Salary percentage, 0.84. Number 2, Liverpool. And like it can turn into like a 20-minute them reading the table. So if you have the chance to read this book instead of listening to it, that might be a reason to do it, but it's not that long of a book. You kind of just have to suffer through those parts. It's good, interesting. Not as good as Moneyball. I'm going to give it I'll give it a 7 kicky balls out of 10.
Kicky balls.
Yeah. What'd you read?
I read the book Lightlark. It's basically like a fantasy book where their realm is cursed and they have to try and break the curse because there's a time limit on it and their realm is dying or something like that. And just based off of like the type of book that it was, I knew that there was going to be a love triangle, but it didn't happen until like the last, I don't know, half hour of the book, and then it felt very rushed. I did like it. There's not really much other to say about it. I'm going to give it an 8 thumbs up to make it easy for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. But that's all I have.
All right.
What do we have coming up?
I keep saying Shogun. I don't know how many episodes there's supposed to be of that show, But I have been watching it. I have been keeping up. I think there's like 6 or 7 episodes out now, and I'm all caught up. So if you want to watch that along... It
says there's going to be 10.
Okay, so I guess not for another couple weeks. I'm watching the 2nd season of Gomorrah. I'm watching Curb Your Enthusiasm because the last season is coming out, so I'm trying to binge through everything that I haven't seen. I'm reading another book. What are you reading and watching?
I'm reading a book that I can't think of what the title is. It's stupid.
So they'll be
We might talk about Roadhouse.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. But I think that's all that's really coming up.
Oh, Monkey Man.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out soon, right? Is it this month or next month? Probably next month, right?
Yeah, it's probably next month. I think it's like April 5th, actually.
Oh, that's next week.
I don't know if you're going to want to watch it, though.
Is it rated R?
Yeah.
Oh.
I looked up the
I don't watch rated R movies.
Well, it says, like, rated R for strong, bloody violence, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely would never watch a rated R movie.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome to come with me.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Bye.